You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Epictetus. Have you ever found yourself saying or doing something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? Maybe it was a sharp comment during an argument, or a decision made out of frustration. Moments like these remind us how challenging emotional control can be. But what if there was a way to master these impulses and respond with clarity instead of reactivity? In today's video, we'll explore how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism can help you cultivate self-control and improve emotional management. The ancient Stoics believed that true strength comes not from controlling others or external events, but from mastering our own minds. And in a world full of distractions, stressors, and emotional triggers, their teachings are more relevant than ever. By the end of this video, you'll have 5 practical tools inspired by Stoicism that you can use to handle emotions more effectively, reduce unnecessary stress, and build stronger relationships. These tips aren't abstract, they're actionable, designed to fit seamlessly into your daily life. Here's what we'll cover: how to understand and identify your emotional triggers, the power of practicing a pause before reacting, how to reframe emotional situations for clarity, the role of journaling in building emotional awareness, aligning your actions with your core values for greater discipline. Each tip is a step toward greater self-control and emotional balance. Stay with me until the end, where we'll tie these lessons together with a powerful insight that can transform how you approach emotional challenges. If you find value in what you're learning, don't forget to like, subscribe to Stoic Teachings today, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive in and start your journey to mastering emotional control with the wisdom of Stoicism. Number 1. Understand your triggers. Self-control is not just about reacting less, it's about reacting better. To do this, we must first understand the root causes of our emotional responses. The Stoics teach that true mastery begins with self-awareness, and identifying your emotional triggers is the first step to cultivating self-control. Epictetus offers timeless wisdom when he says, "It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." This profound insight reminds us that our emotional turbulence often comes not from the external event itself, but from how we perceive and interpret it. When we understand what triggers our emotions, we take the first step in reclaiming control over our reactions. Let's dig deeper. Triggers are not random, they are patterns. They often arise from unmet expectations, unresolved fears, or past experiences. Imagine this scenario. You're working on a tight deadline, and a colleague points out an error in your work. Instead of viewing their feedback objectively, you feel a wave of frustration or defensiveness. What's the real trigger here? Is it the fear of failure, a sense of pride being challenged, or perhaps an underlying stress from the looming deadline? By identifying the source, you gain the clarity needed to respond constructively rather than impulsively. This principle applies to both small daily irritations and larger emotional struggles. Think about road rage, a common frustration for many. On the surface, it's easy to blame traffic or other drivers, but if you examine the situation through a Stoic lens, you may discover the deeper issue, perhaps a fear of being late or a sense of powerlessness in a situation beyond your control. Once you recognize this, you can shift your focus to what is within your power, like planning better or using the time in traffic to listen to a podcast that uplifts you. Understanding your triggers doesn't mean you eliminate challenges. It means you approach them with intention. For example, a friend of mine struggled with managing her temper during family discussions. After some reflection, she realized her frustration often came from feeling unheard. This awareness allowed her to shift her approach. Instead of reacting, she communicated her feelings calmly and created space for constructive conversations. The benefits of this practice are profound. When you understand your triggers, you reduce emotional volatility and increase your capacity for thoughtful, measured responses. This self-awareness not only improves your emotional well-being, but also strengthens your relationships by fostering empathy and reducing unnecessary conflict. Here's a simple but transformative exercise. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to reflect on moments when your emotions felt heightened. Write down what happened, how you reacted, and most importantly, why you think you reacted that way. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns. Perhaps it's a particular tone of voice that sets you off, or situations where you feel a loss of control. Once these triggers are identified, you can prepare for them, either by changing your perspective or planning a better response. This is the first step in practicing Stoicism for self-control. When you know your triggers, you shift from living reactively to living intentionally. You move closer to the Stoic ideal of mastering your emotions rather than being mastered by them. In the next section, we'll explore a simple yet powerful practice, pausing before you react. This seemingly small habit can dramatically improve how you handle emotional challenges. Stay tuned, and let's continue the journey toward better emotional management. Number 2, practice the pause. The power of self-control lies in a simple yet profound skill, the ability to pause. When emotions surge and the impulse to react takes over, practicing the pause creates a crucial moment of clarity. This moment allows you to step back, reflect, and choose a response aligned with your values, rather than letting emotions dictate your actions. Marcus Aurelius understood this principle well. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that the pause is where our true power resides. It's the space where we reclaim control over our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Let's consider how this plays out in everyday life. Imagine you're in a heated disagreement with a coworker. Your first instinct might be to interrupt them or respond defensively. But if you pause, even for a few seconds, something powerful happens. That pause gives you time to reflect. What is my goal in this conversation? Am I reacting out of ego, or am I focused on resolving the issue? By practicing this brief moment of mindfulness, you shift from a reactionary state to a more intentional one, allowing you to respond calmly and constructively. This practice is not limited to workplace conflicts. Think about how often emotions flare in personal relationships. A loved one says something that frustrates or hurts you, and before you know it, you've said something in return that you later regret. Practicing the pause interrupts this cycle. It allows you to ask yourself, what is the bigger picture here? Do I want to be right, or do I want to preserve this relationship? This reflection often leads to responses that de-escalate tensions and foster understanding. Even in minor, everyday scenarios, the pause can be transformative. Picture being stuck in traffic after a long day. It's easy to let irritation take over, but what if you paused and reframed the situation? Instead of focusing on the frustration, you could use the time to listen to a favorite podcast or practice deep breathing. This simple shift changes the entire experience, transforming stress into an opportunity for self-growth. Practicing the pause has profound benefits. It reduces emotional reactivity, improves decision-making, and strengthens relationships by fostering thoughtful communication. Over time, this practice builds emotional resilience, helping you approach life's challenges with grace and composure. One way to integrate this habit into your daily life is through a simple exercise. The next time you feel a strong emotion building, whether it's anger, anxiety, or impatience, take a deep breath. Count to 5 silently. As you count, ask yourself one guiding question, such as, what outcome do I want from this situation? Is this reaction helping or hurting me? Am I acting in line with my values? These reflective questions transform your pause into a moment of empowerment, enabling you to respond in a way that aligns with who you aspire to be. A friend once shared how this practice helped him navigate a high-pressure job. He often felt overwhelmed by last-minute demands from his boss. Initially, his instinct was to react with frustration or defensiveness, but by implementing the pause, he began to approach these moments differently. He would take a deep breath, remind himself to focus on the task rather than the emotions, and calmly discuss priorities. This simple adjustment not only reduced his stress, but also improved his relationships at work, as colleagues began to view him as composed and reliable under pressure. Practicing the pause doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. Instead, it allows you to engage with them thoughtfully, using them as information rather than letting them control you. It's a practice of harnessing your emotions to guide intentional, constructive actions. As you build this habit, you'll notice a shift. not just in how you respond to challenging situations, but in how you view them. The pause creates space for perspective, allowing you to see challenges as opportunities to grow in self-control and emotional strength. In the next section, we'll explore the power of reframing emotional situations. By changing how we interpret challenges, we can transform stress into an opportunity for clarity and growth. Stay with me as we continue this journey into mastering emotional control with Stoic wisdom. Number 3, reframe emotional situations. How we perceive a situation shapes how we respond to it. The Stoics knew this well and emphasized the power of reframing as a tool for emotional control. By changing how we interpret events, we can transform moments of stress or frustration into opportunities for growth and clarity. Marcus Aurelius captured this wisdom perfectly when he wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This profound statement reveals that it's not the event itself that causes distress, but the meaning we assign to it. By shifting our perspective, we reclaim control over our emotions and reactions. Let's put this into a practical context. Imagine you've received critical feedback at work. Your initial reaction might be embarrassment, frustration, or even anger. But if you pause and reframe the situation, you can view the criticism as constructive, a chance to improve, learn, and grow. Instead of seeing it as an attack, you see it as guidance. This simple shift transforms a negative emotional response into a productive one. Another example could involve personal relationships. Suppose a friend cancels plans at the last minute. Your immediate interpretation might be that they don't value your time, leading to feelings of rejection. But if you reframe the situation, you might consider alternative explanations. Perhaps they're overwhelmed, or something urgent came up. This new perspective can help you approach the situation with empathy instead of resentment. A friend of mine shared a story about how reframing changed her perspective during a difficult time. She lost out on a promotion she had worked tirelessly for and initially felt defeated. But after reflecting, she reframed the situation as an opportunity to reassess her goals and skills. This mindset shift motivated her to pursue additional training, and within a year, she was offered an even better position. Reframing emotional situations isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing a perspective that empowers you. The benefits are profound: reduced stress, better emotional control, and a clearer, more constructive approach to challenges. Over time, this practice strengthens your resilience and allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of calm and purpose. Here's an actionable step to practice reframing. The next time you're faced with a challenging situation, ask yourself, what is another way to look at this? Or what's within my control here? Write down at least one alternative interpretation that aligns with growth or learning. Even if it feels difficult at first, this exercise can help you develop a habit of seeing challenges through a constructive lens. The Stoics believed that our perception is the key to self-mastery. By reframing emotional situations, you align with this timeless wisdom, transforming your reactions and reclaiming control over your emotions. In the next section, we'll explore how journaling can deepen your self-awareness and strengthen your emotional resilience. Stay tuned. This practice will tie together the lessons we've covered so far and offer a powerful tool for personal growth. Number 4, cultivate self-awareness through journaling. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of self-control, and one of the most effective ways to develop it is through journaling. For the Stoics, writing was not just a practice, it was a tool for reflection, emotional regulation, and personal growth. Journaling allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions from a distance, giving us clarity and helping us align our actions with our values. Marcus Aurelius himself was an avid practitioner of this art. His Meditations, a series of personal reflections, offers timeless wisdom on navigating life's challenges. In one passage he writes, "You have power over your mind. Realize this, and you will find strength." Through his journaling, Marcus continually reminded himself of his own agency, grounding his thoughts and actions in reason rather than impulse. Journaling helps you understand the why behind your emotions. Let's say you had a frustrating day at work. Instead of carrying that frustration into the evening, take a moment to write about it. What triggered the frustration? Was it a difficult interaction with a colleague? An overwhelming workload? By putting your thoughts on paper, you not only release the tension, but also gain insights into patterns that might be fueling your stress. A friend of mine began journaling during a particularly stressful period in her life. Initially, she felt overwhelmed by emotions she couldn't quite pinpoint. But as she started writing, she noticed recurring themes, unrealistic expectations she was placing on herself, and unresolved fears about failure. Over time, this awareness empowered her to make changes. She set boundaries, practiced self-compassion, and began approaching challenges with a calmer mindset. The benefits of journaling go beyond emotional clarity. It helps you identify triggers, track your growth, and reinforce positive habits. It's a practice that bridges reflection and action, enabling you to move through life with greater intentionality. If you're new to journaling, start simple. At the end of each day, write down 3 prompts. What events or emotions stood out today? What did I do well, and what could I improve? How can I approach similar situations differently in the future? This exercise doesn't require hours of writing, just 5 to 10 minutes of honest reflection. Over time, you'll notice patterns in your emotions and responses, giving you the tools to cultivate self-awareness and manage your emotions more effectively. Journaling also connects deeply with the Stoic concept of progress. The Stoics didn't strive for perfection, but for daily improvement. Writing allows you to track this progress, celebrate small victories, and stay committed to your journey of self-control and emotional mastery. As you make journaling a habit, you'll find yourself better equipped to handle life's challenges. You'll respond to emotional triggers with clarity, make decisions with confidence, and build a deeper connection with yourself. In the next section, we'll explore how aligning your actions with your core values can further enhance emotional control and lead to a more fulfilling life. Stay with me. This next practice ties everything we've learned together, creating a blueprint for living with intention and resilience. Number 5, align actions with core values. True self-control is not just about managing emotions in the moment. It's about consistently aligning your actions with your deepest values. For the Stoics, this alignment is the foundation of a meaningful and virtuous life. When your actions reflect your core values, you not only gain emotional clarity but also cultivate resilience and purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simple yet profound statement underscores the importance of living in harmony with your principles. When you act according to your values, your decisions become less reactive and more intentional, reducing internal conflict and fostering a sense of peace. Consider a common scenario. You're faced with a difficult decision at work. Perhaps you've been asked to cut corners on a project to save time. The easy choice might be to comply, avoiding potential confrontation or delays. But if integrity is one of your core values, taking a shortcut may leave you feeling uneasy or regretful. By pausing to reflect on your values, you can choose a course of action that aligns with your principles, even if it's more challenging in the short term. Living according to your values also helps navigate interpersonal conflicts. Imagine a heated disagreement with a loved one. If kindness and understanding are among your core values, you can use them as a guide, even in moments of frustration. Instead of reacting impulsively or saying something hurtful, you pause and ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that honors my values? This shift in perspective not only diffuses tension, but also strengthens your relationship. A close friend once shared how aligning her actions with her values transformed her approach to parenting. She realized that one of her core values was patience, yet she often reacted impulsively when her children misbehaved. By reflecting on this disconnect, she began practicing mindfulness and pausing before responding. Over time, this alignment not only improved her relationship with her children, but also deepened her sense of self-control and fulfillment. The benefits of aligning your actions with your core values are profound. You'll experience greater emotional stability, improved relationships, and a stronger sense of self. This practice reduces the mental clutter that comes from decisions made in conflict with your principles, allowing you to live with greater clarity and purpose. Here's a simple exercise to help you start. Write down your top 3 values, qualities or principles that matter most to you. Then, think about how these values can guide your responses to common challenges in your life. For example, if honesty is a core value, how will you handle difficult conversations? If compassion is important to you, how can you respond to others in moments of tension? The more you consciously act in alignment with your values, the easier it becomes to make decisions that reflect your best self. Aligning actions with your values is a daily practice, one that requires reflection, commitment, and patience. But as the Stoics teach us, this effort is the path to a life of fulfillment and emotional mastery. In our next section, we'll bring everything together, showing how these principles of Stoicism can work in harmony to create a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Stay tuned as we conclude this journey into mastering self-control and emotional management. In this journey through Stoicism for self-control, 5 tips for better emotional management, we've uncovered the timeless wisdom of the Stoics and how it can help us master our emotions. Let's quickly recap the 5 transformative practices we explored. Understanding your triggers to gain clarity over emotional responses. Practicing the pause to create space between reaction and intention. Reframing emotional situations to shift from distress to empowerment. Cultivating self-awareness through journaling as a daily tool for reflection. Aligning your actions with your core values to live with authenticity and purpose. At the heart of Stoicism lies one essential truth. You cannot control external events, but you can always control how you respond to them. This insight is your key to greater emotional balance, resilience, and clarity. These practices are not abstract philosophies. They are actionable steps you can incorporate into your daily life. Whether it's taking a breath before responding, reflecting on your day through journaling, or aligning your choices with your values, each step brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself. The benefits are profound. By applying these lessons, you'll experience less stress, greater emotional control, and deeper fulfillment in your relationships and personal growth. You'll find that self-discipline isn't about suppression, it's about liberation. As you leave this video, I encourage you to choose one tip to start practicing today. Write it down, reflect on it, and most importantly, take action. Change begins with a single step, and the Stoics remind us that progress, not perfection, is the goal. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe to Stoic Teachings today, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which practice resonated most with you? Let us know. We'd love to hear your story. Together, let's continue this journey toward a life of self-control, emotional resilience, and inner peace. Thank you for watching, and remember, your power lies within your choices. See you in the next video.